Well, I've been to Shanghai once before, about 10 years ago. I was actually scouting for a film that never happened. A few times that's happened to me, but I just thought it was an amazing city, and it was my first city that I've ever been to in China, so it was amazing. Well, I've only been here a short time, so I've basically made it out of my hotel room, looking out the window. So I've yet to really gone and able to explore. So hopefully in the next few days. I never really considered myself a great artist. I just always liked to draw, and when I worked at Disney many years ago, they just let me sit in a room for a couple of years and draw whatever I wanted to draw. So, it's a very personal thing to me, drawing, and so I think everything you do, there's something about it that's meaningful and personal. Well, I mean, I've been very lucky. Doing film, you get to incorporate all of that. I first started out at Disney as an animator. So, as an animator, you draw, you compose the shots, you shoot it, you do the editing. So, film is a very lucky medium for me because it incorporates everything. Well, I think that's an accurate description, because I think I've always loved, I grew up watching monster movies and horror movies, which I felt were like fairy tales, and I think those always spoke to me. There's something about the symbolism and the beauty and the magic, which for me works with film and sort of making modern fairy tales. For me, I was never a good speaker. I never very verbal, so I always communicated through drawings, and that for me was the clearest way for me to communicate. And like I said, working at Disney a long time ago, I had the real, which was an unheard of opportunity to just draw whatever I wanted to draw, because I was not very good at drawing Disney style characters. They just sort of let me create, and so a lot of formative years were spent doing that. I mean, technology has changed things quite a bit, but you can do lots of things with computer animation and things. But I always still like to make it as handmade as possible. I think for me, I like having elements on the sets, real sets. I think as actors and people, I think appreciate it. I've done a couple of things where it's all been green screen, and you start to go a bit crazy. There's something that's really nice about having sets, and I think actors, everybody, the crew, everybody appreciates it. So even though technology has changed, you still kind of like to bring the root and the purity and the sort of handmade quality of the film. Oh yeah, I mean, I've met a few Chinese actors and actresses over the years, and found them very, very compelling, very strong, and I've always the Chinese films I've seen, there's a sense of design and art that's really, really beautiful. I think sort of indirectly I've been inspired by that. Well, I mean, I like actors who like to change and transform into other things. When I first met him on a film I did called Edward Scissorhands, there's something about actors that like to transform and become other things. That's why I always like old monster movie actors, because they would transform into different characters or creatures, and so he's somebody that I really love work with, because he doesn't care how he looks. He wants to become weird characters, and I like that. I don't know. I mean, it's amazing to see. You know, it's amazing to come to a city like this, a country like this, and see this. So it's a very surreal experience for me, which I love. I love weird experiences.